Hi guys, I just want to welcome you to our live class tonight. Tonight my class is going to be on how to begin a plant-based diet. So if you are new to Facebook Live and you're trying to figure out how to get on, just click on the video. I'm on live right now, and if you are watching this recorded, you can still comment and ask questions. I can definitely respond after the class. So I'm going to start tonight. I'm going to dive right into it. I don't want to take up anyone's time longer than we have to, so I'm going to make sure that we're done by 8:30. So if you have a pen and paper handy, I recommend that you have one handy so that you could take notes and you won't forget some of the things I mentioned to you. So forgive me for looking at my notes. I'm keeping, I want to make sure that I don't miss anything, so I'm going to be looking down while I do this live video. So I see Lori. Hi, Lori. I have my diffuser going. I have Citrus Bliss and Peppermint in here, and I have In Tune, which is my favorite blend. So, okay, so I'm going to get right into it. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Amanda Mancini. I'm the founder of Pure Fit Women, which is an online fitness, nutrition, and wellness company just for women. I'm also a wellness coach with doTERRA, and I'm a personal trainer. I'm also a mom of twins that are going to be 14 in just a few weeks. So I keep myself pretty busy, and I'm going to get right into why, hi Nicole, and who else do I see here? Hi Lori. I'm going to get right into why I began a plant-based diet. So if you are somebody that's interested in health and wellness, not just the latest diet craze, I always do a lot of research on nutrition because it's part of what I do for a living. And I just always question why people around us are sick. I mean, comment below if you know somebody close to you, whether it's a relative or a friend that has had cancer before the age of 60 or 70. And I think we all can pretty much think of at least a few people that are dealing with that. Comment below if you know people that have autoimmune issues, that have high cholesterol, that are diabetic, or have heart disease. So these things are so common in our society today that we think it's inevitable that you're going to get, these diseases. Hi, Sue. I see all you guys coming on. It's nice to see you. So I always wondered why people don't realize what they put in their body on a daily basis affects their health. So sometimes people will think, I can eat this on a regular basis, or it's not that bad, or having something once in a while is not a big deal. But if you start to put together all the little things that you're doing on a daily basis, I think they add up. And I did a lot of research on the consumption of animal products, and I truly believe that this is why a lot of people are ill today and are dealing with so many health conditions. So I'm not going to go into tonight all those reasons why, because we'll be here all night. I'm going to stick to the people that are interested in a plant-based diet and how to get started. I have a hair in my mouth, sorry. How to get started on this journey, because it can be overwhelming to change habits that are not considered, well, maybe they're becoming more mainstream, but most people are still eating plenty of animal products, and you might find it difficult to start making that transition. You're going to have a lot of people that might not agree with how you feel, or they're going to try to convince you that their way is the right way, and everybody feels that they have something to say about it. So you will get a lot of that. Another thing, people are always on the next diet craze. They believe in, cutting carbohydrates down to a point where you're barely having any at all and going to a state of ketosis, which is, to me, ludicrous on many levels. But I'm not going to, again, go into that in too much detail. But just remember that anything that's cutting out a vital macronutrient in your diet that your body needs to have energy, to me, is ridiculous. So I don't believe in drastically cutting out any particular macronutrient. I do believe in eating whole and unprocessed foods, or as minimally processed foods as possible. Okay, so the first thing I want to mention to you is that my journey started watching documentaries, and I like to watch a lot of things on YouTube, and I like to read a lot of books. So if I had to recommend to you, the first thing you need to do is to watch a documentary on Netflix. Is called Forks Over Knives. So if you haven't watched that video, I would start there, because that's where you're going to start to see what's really happening to our society today, and why people are so sick. Another person I follow is Dr. John McDougall. He's on YouTube. I follow him a lot. He has a website, and you can read up on his views on things. And these are scientifically based studies, and they have a lot of things to back them up. The China Study is a great book that I recommend. I actually have it here. If you haven't read this book, I would highly recommend. Maybe, I don't know if people like to read that much, but if you are interested in any of this, start here. That's a great book. And at the end of this, I'm going to just show you a couple of recipe books that I'll leave for the end so I don't overwhelm you guys. So again, Forks Over Knives, write this down. If you've seen it, feel free to comment below. I'm curious to see if anyone else has watched it. Okay, so I'm going to go into now, first, before I say go further, I'm not a doctor. I'm not here to dispense any medical advice. This is my research, my training, my background that I'm bringing this to you. And it's something that you can either start to kind of filter into your family and your life, or you can say that I'm crazy and you want nothing to do with it. That's totally fine. But it's your journey, and if you feel it's going to benefit you in some way, then I highly recommend that you start somewhere, okay? So what I can assure you is that including plant-based foods into your diet is only going to positively affect your health. Okay, so I'm going to go into it now. Again, I'm sorry I'm looking down, but I want to make sure I'm not forgetting anything. So you want to have your pen ready, and you're going to save a lot of money on eating a plant-based diet. So people say, well, I can't afford to do plant-based. Well, you actually can. It's so inexpensive to start to remove animal products from your diet. So if you think your food bill is drastically, high and you don't see how you're going to manage this, I kind of track how much money my food bill is a month, and it's a lot. After transitioning away from that, it's definitely hundreds of dollars less because I'll only buy organic, and when we were buying organic meats, it was a lot more money. So just to give you an example, I buy a lot of beans and legumes, and I'll go into detail on this, but these are garbanzo beans, same thing as chickpeas. This bag will last for a couple of days for my whole family. So the water absorbs it when you cook it, and it's going to make a lot of food, and you can use it for different recipes. Another thing I wanted to mention, there are so many substitutes for foods that you're currently eating, so it's not that you're going to be giving up anything. You're just going to be replacing what you're eating now with something else, and there are so many ways to do that. So it's going to be a lot less difficult than you actually think it is. Okay, so another thing I want to mention is you're going to get plenty of protein on this diet. People believe that they need like this exorbitant amount of protein to the point where it's actually making your body toxic. So without going into too much detail on that, I'm going to give you a comparison. So, you just bought the book Forks Over Knives. That's Nicole. That's awesome. I love everything about that. There's a website. Go on and read up and educate yourself on why we're doing this, why this is important. So it's definitely a movement. I think a couple of years from now, there's going to be a lot more people going this direction. Okay, so I want to give you an example of protein. So an egg contains around 7 grams of protein for one whole egg. Broccoli, which is about 80 calories. So you take 100 calories of broccoli, and you're going to get also 7 grams of protein for that amount of broccoli. So you don't need so much protein that you're going overboard, and specifically for each person, I can tell you where you should be at, but I'm not going to go into that tonight. But just know that you are getting protein from plants. All protein starts from plants, and it's a myth that it's not a complete protein. It's a myth that it's not the right protein, that the best protein is from an animal source. It's not true. It's not true at all. And the reason why we're told these things is because there's people making a lot of money. They're making money from the consumption of animal products, and they're making money from you getting sick. So just remember, there's no money in a cure. So if you're getting cancer, and there was a cure out there for, by just changing your diet, think about how much money is lost from that. So who's going to tell you that you could change your diet and you might not need a doctor 90% of the time in your life? Nobody. Not, at least the people that are, bringing these things to our plates and to the grocery stores. So, okay, so number 1, you're going to watch Forks Over Knives. It's on Netflix. I highly recommend that you start there. Okay. Number 2, I would suggest you're going to download an app for recipes. So I like the Engine 2 Diet. He has some awesome books. This is Rip Esselstyn, I believe. And he has this book is amazing. His recipes are amazing. You can download his app. He also wrote another book called Plant Strong, and there's some great recipes in here. So you're going to be teaching yourself how to cook again, and maybe some easy things. I'll explain what I do because I don't have a lot of time to cook either. But you'll want an app because, at night you might say, well, I don't know what to cook tonight. So you just go on the app and you kind of look for maybe, you could plug in an ingredient that you have in the house and then just go from there. Another thing I wanted to mention is you don't have to be a gourmet cook to start to eat more plant-based, diet. You don't have to be an expert in any of this. It's just getting some of the things in the house, which we'll go over, and starting with maybe a few meals in your family's in your family dinners and things like that. So we're going to go through that. Number 3, I wanted to recommend that you should focus on the positive. So this is not a deprivation diet. You're not giving up everything you love and you're going to be miserable. You're going to be replacing these disgusting animal products that you're putting on in your body on a daily basis and making you ill, and you're going to start eating things that are actually nourishing your body and going to provide health benefits to you. So start to think about, the other thing I want to say is once you start eating a certain way, your taste buds are going to begin to change. So if your kids are not on board, and somebody had asked a question, I think it was earlier today, they said, how do you start doing this if if you have small children without cooking 100 different things? Your kids only know what you feed them. So if you've given them pizza and chicken nuggets and French fries from the time they were 1 year old because you thought that was going to make them eat, then that's all they know. They only know high salt, high sugar, high fat. That's all they have a taste bud for. And you're poisoning your children. I mean, I really, truly believe that. I get upset when I hear people take their kids to these fast food restaurants, because if you knew what was going in that food, you're literally poisoning your children on a daily basis. So if you're going to those places, I just stop. Stop. They're not going to starve. They only know what you feed them. So if you give them, fruits and vegetables, and you're giving them beans, and you're giving them, vegan alternatives, you're giving them rice, you're giving them potatoes. These are things from the earth that are healthy for us. You might have this carb phobia right now that you think, oh my God, how can I eat a potato and not get fat? You're not going to get fat, because the only way you get fat is if you're eating foods that are bad for you, and you're eating them in exorbitant amounts to the point where you don't have any ability to burn them off, right? Your body doesn't require that energy. But feed your children these types of foods, and they're going to look for them. So the whole family will start to like the same thing. So my children, I'm not saying that they're perfect by any means, because they're not, but I just won't feed them those foods. So when they come home every day, they have a meal. They have actual food to eat. They have lentils. They have soups. I make little muffins for them, things like that. They don't take long at all. I don't have a lot of time to cook. So again, that's all they know, and they don't give me a hard time. They actually look for vegetables. They look for broccoli in their meals. They look for things like that, because that's how they were raised. So it's never too late to start that. You can do that at any time. Just start slowly incorporating some healthier options, and I'll give you some ideas on that. Okay, so when your taste buds begin to change and you start eating the way you should for health and wellness, and adopting a more plant-based lifestyle, you're going to naturally lose excess weight. Because if you think about it, when people say they eat dairy, or they don't want to give up their cheese, or they don't want to give up the milk, the half and half in their coffee, and I'm not saying it's easy, because at first I thought it was going to be really hard to do, but if you start, again, doing your research on what is in dairy products, you will want to vomit. I mean, there is pus in there, there's feces, there's all sorts of antibiotics and hormones. It's a cancer promoter. Dairy is a cancer promoter. Do your research. If you want to promote cancer in your body or your children, give them dairy. It makes me crazy when I see people don't want to let go of that, because the milk industry, the dairy industry, has so heavily marketed this to us that we are brainwashed, that we think calcium must come from milk. It's ridiculous. It comes from plants. And if the animal is eating the plant, and you're eating what's coming out of the animal, just eat the plant. And you can forget about the animal's disgusting secretions. That, human beings are the only species that are drinking the secretions of another animal. So if you think about that, people that say they're lactose intolerant, you're lactose intolerant because you're not a baby cow. So of course you're going to be lactose intolerant. You don't need to be drinking and using dairy products. So if you're suffering from autoimmune issues, high cholesterol, from stomach issues, digestive issues, gas, bloating, get rid of the dairy, allergies, eczema, I could keep going, cancer, get it out. So I just went off topic because I get so crazy when I start talking about it. But just remember number 4. So you're going to lose weight. You're going to lose excess body fat if you're eating properly. You're going to lose your cravings. Because if you're nourishing yourself with the right amount of foods, the different macronutrients such as, vegetables and legumes, and I'm going to go through what they are, and healthy starches like rices and potatoes and things that come from the earth and oatmeal, you're going to be satisfied. You're not going to be looking for all these little alternatives to satisfy you, and you're going to feel better. So number 4, once you get started, it will get so much easier. So just remember, everything is hard before it gets easy. So you can remember the first time you tried to ride a bike, or the first time you tried to do anything and you felt like you just couldn't do it, and then after a while it became easy. Or your first day at a job, you don't know what to do. Same exact thing. It's going to feel hard for a little while until you start to get used to doing things. It's going to get easier. But instead of try to have an open mind, and instead of keeping a closed mind saying, I don't know how to cook these this way, or I don't like those kinds of foods, that's a closed mindset, and if you have that, you're never going to be open to any of this. So you're going to start small, and you're going to slowly make changes. Before you know it, you're not going to recognize your old self and how you used to eat. So I did that myself. There was a time when I look back 10 years ago, and my diet was very different than it was today. I was eating a lot of chicken, and if you have any cholesterol issues, just know that chicken contains as much cholesterol as red meat. So you're not doing yourself any favors by saying, oh, well, I only eat chicken. But if your cholesterol is over 200, or, it should be even lower, it should be under 150, if it's not there, you're getting cholesterol from the food you eat. So it doesn't matter what you've heard, you get cholesterol from eating saturated fats coming from animal products. So that might not be something you want to hear, but it's the truth. And most heart attacks happen between the cholesterol levels of 150 and 199. So I think it's not most, but 35% or something like that. So the lower you go, the better off you are. Number 5, a whole foods plant-based diet. What is it? People don't know what it is. It's minimally refined foods, unprocessed foods as much as possible, and everything being plant-based, meaning coming from plants. So think of things that come from the earth and naturally go from the earth. If it has a mother, it's not a plant-based food, okay? If it has a face, it's not a plant-based food. So that's how you can tell, because sometimes people really don't know, which is funny, but it's true. Okay, so here, number 6, what to eat on a plant-based diet. I want to make sure that I'm not going over. All right, it's very simple. We don't have to complicate everything. The diet industry, the industry of dieting has, in my opinion, formed eating disorders for many, many people. And they think you have to be miserable, you have to be starving, you have to eliminate all these things that you enjoy, and you have to be, it should feel hard. And that's not the case. It shouldn't be complicated. So this is the simplest diet you're ever going to do in your life. I don't even want to call it a diet. It's the simplest way of eating. It's going to relieve all your stress. You're going to walk around and say, oh my God, what have I been doing the last God knows how many years, okay? Here we go. Fruits, write it down. Vegetables, tubers, if you don't know what those are, it's root vegetables. That's carrots, beets, parsnips, potatoes. Those are things, roots coming from the earth. Whole grains, again, these are coming back into your life. You don't have to be, they don't have to be gone. They're good for you. Oatmeal, rice, brown rice, wild rice. I'll show you one that I actually love. I love this brand. They're like all different wild rices in here. They're delicious. And I'm going to show you how simple my meals are, because as I mentioned, I really don't have a lot of time to cook. Quinoa, if you don't know what that is, it looks like very small rice. It's got a lot of protein in it. Barley, millet, whole wheat products, unrefined whole wheat products. And legumes. If you don't know what legumes are, those are lentils, chickpeas, black beans, peas, those types of things. So you're going to be using a lot of these foods. So if you think about those things, you might not even be eating them now, and you say, my God, I can start to eat these things again. So number 7, experiment with making your favorite recipes into plant-based meals. So for example, what I did was, and I didn't do this in one day where I woke up and said everybody's going to be a vegetarian or a vegan or plant-based. I didn't do that. What I started to do was start with a couple of meals a week that I made without animal products. So instead of I used to make turkey chili for the kids and for the family, and I always never liked the consistency of ground meat. It used to make me ill. I hated to touch it. I hated to make meatloaf out of it. I think they take the animal probably the worst animals, and they throw them in the grinder, and you're just not going to notice all the disgusting things that are in it because it's ground up. So I would take that turkey chili, and I did 3 bean chili with, peppers and onions and extra beans, and obviously however you like to make chili. I have a recipe which I can share with you. There's vegan cheeses that you could use that taste great. Go to Whole Foods. They have the best selection of vegan cheeses, and just experiment. I could give you a couple of ones I like, and you can use that. If you like macaroni and cheese, or your kids like macaroni and cheese, and you don't want the fat and the dairy, you can use nutritional yeast, which is something you could buy in the health food section, and it makes like a cheese sauce. So you can use that. It's really good, actually. Another thing, I used to make the kids meatloaf with a turkey, thinking, I was doing a good job because we weren't eating red meat. It's just as bad. So I changed it over to lentil meatloaf, where you take the lentils, and you can, I have recipes on my Instagram, by the way. I'm not going to go into detail, but you mash it up almost like meat. And however you make your chopped meat or your meatloaf, you can do the same thing with the lentils. And my son, I told the story to everybody, he didn't even know that it wasn't meat. He had no idea. He loved it. He ate it. And that's something that's on my weekly meal plan. Very simple to make, and nobody's missing them. You could do veggie burgers instead of turkey burgers, those types of things. So think about the meals you like, and then go on Pinterest, or if you have a recipe book, just type in vegan or plant-based version of whatever it is you like. Something's going to come up. Okay, number 8. This one might not make you happy, but you have to get rid of the oil and the saturated fats. That includes as much as possible. I'm not saying that you're never going to use it at all, because I think that's might be hard for people to do, but you're going to start learning other ways to cook. But you got to get rid of the oil. It's the most calorie-dense food in the world. I mean, there's 120 calories for 1 tablespoon of olive oil, and people can't understand why they can't lose weight. You can't lose weight because you're dousing your food in oils all day, and you're eating a lot more calories than you think you are. You don't need it. It's not heart healthy. That's a load of crap that's been fed to us over the years. Coconut oil, olive oil, good fats, it's not true. Minimize it as much as possible, and you will see your cholesterol go down. You will see all your numbers go down. You will see your weight go down. What do you do in place of oil? You're going to buy different kinds of pans that don't require a coating of oil on them. So I have all different kinds of pans. So if I'm making, let's just say, a sauce, or I have a pan that I don't need to coat, or you can use a nonstick cooking spray just a little bit, so that you're not, because that is a form of the oil. Again, it's just a smaller amount, or it's chemically changed. But I use vegetable broth all the time. So you can start to saute your vegetables, your beans, whatever it is, pastas, whatever it is you're making. And I buy these like crazy. So this is from Whole Foods, but I buy like probably 10 at a time because I use it that much. So if you want to see success with this, and if you think that you could do plant-based, but you can keep the oils in there, you're going to be spinning your wheels. You have to start cooking without oil. Bake your foods. Another thing I want to mention, write this down. You're going to use parchment paper to bake everything in the oven. It's the easiest thing ever. You coat your pan, put the parchment paper on there, and you can bake. Nothing sticks to it. So you will be able to cook everything with no fat. There is no reason to douse everything with oil and then put your food on top. You're adding hundreds of calories, and you're clogging your arteries, okay? And again, do your research. If you don't believe me, do your research on why these oils are not necessary for you and then not helping your health, okay? So butter, olive oil, coconut oil, it's all the same. Get rid of it. Okay, number 9. If you're not ready to jump in cold turkey, what I recommend to you is start adding some foods in during the day. So I add, you could add in legumes, which again we spoke about, whole grains, starchy vegetables. You can kind of do like half plant-based for the day. For example, your breakfast could be oatmeal with half a banana and maybe some blueberries. That might be your breakfast right there. You could do a plant-based protein if you like and throw that in your oatmeal. Your lunch could be a salad with some brown rice or sweet potato and some chickpeas on top, and throw whatever vegetables you want in your salad. And then maybe at dinner you would have your your regular dinner for now, you know, and that's how you can start. So maybe without telling the whole family, oh, we're doing this plant-based diet, start with a couple of meals that they might not notice. So start with some snacks that might go over well and see how they do. Breakfast is usually easy. You don't need to, I meant to mention eggs are a problem as well, but if you feel like you can't let go of everything, start eliminating certain things first, and then like your breakfast, let's just say we don't need to eat eggs for breakfast. You could have Ezekiel toast, you could have oatmeal, you can have homemade waffles or pancakes. It's really simple. Again, if you have questions while I'm doing this video, which we're going to be finished very soon, feel free to post and let me know if there's anything you want me to address before we're finished. So number 10, I don't know if I've been going in the right order, but start with making 2 plant-based dinners a week for your family. So you would think most of the time people would be families would be very upset by this, but you don't have to make, again, this big announcement. Just do your turkey chili, not in turkey chili, your bean chili, a 3-bean chili, or you can do a, you know, something like I do a lot of times, like a rice and bean medley with a lot of vegetables. So for a very busy night, this is something I might do a lot of times. I'll make this rice in the morning when the kids are getting ready for school, and then I put it in the fridge, okay? And then maybe in between clients, I'll boil the chickpeas or lentils, whatever it is I'm doing that day. And then I will steam a bag of frozen vegetables or a couple of bags of frozen vegetables. And then I put all these things in a big pot, not the whole thing, but I'll take a portion out. And then I use the vegetable broth, and I kind of mix it all up, and then you throw your seasonings, diced tomatoes, it could be salsa. I do use a lot of salsa. This is from Wegmans, and I buy big ones because we use them up a lot, and I cook with them. So I'll do my rice and beans with this, you know, I mix it up, kind of make it like a Mexican style, and a nice big salad, and throwing some vegan cheese on top. I really don't think anybody was missing meat. They didn't ask for it. Nobody felt deprived in any way, and I think that we're healthier that way. So you can do 1 or 2 meals a week that way, and then go from there, and you can build on it. So if they liked it or they didn't like it, you'll know if you should make it again. So it's pretty simple. Number 11, focusing on the big changes. So eliminating dairy, minimizing meat, eggs, and other animal proteins will have a positive effect on your health and your family's health. So you just have to remember, you are what you eat, what they eat. So if you're eating, if you're still eating, you know, your animal products, you're eating whatever it is they ate. So if they're eating corn and soy and all this, like, you know, crap, or whatever it is they're feeding them, and you're eating those things, you're going to become ill just like they did. They're loading them with antibiotics and hormones, so you'll see that people are suffering effects from that because you're eating what they're being given on a daily basis, the animals. So if the animal was eating the plant to nourish itself in general, like in a perfect world, they're eating grass or whatever, or plants or whatever it is, if you just eat those plants, you'll have the same benefit. Okay, so number 12, this is my biggest thing. I think this is where people have a hard time with transitioning to a healthier plant-based diet. You have to be prepared. So yes, there's work involved. You're going to have to go to the store and stock up on food. So I have this conversation pretty much with everyone that I train and anybody that's on my programs, my online programs. People don't prepare. They just start the week and they're like, they don't know what to eat for dinner, and then they end up ordering out, they end up eating crap, or they're just totally unprepared. So if you do once a week, you go to the store and you stock up on the basics of, you know, I'm just showing the same thing because I have your rice, your beans, your vegetable broth, going off the top of my head, non-dairy milk alternatives, applesauce, unsweetened applesauce I use in place of butter for baking. So if you are cooking or making a cake or whatever it is, use applesauce. You have to, there's no fat, there's no dairy, it's a lot less calories, it tastes just as good, nobody's going to know the difference. Stock up on those things. Your oatmeal, I could keep going, but you get the idea. If you stock up every week on these things, and you will always have your base in the house, and then you might need just to run to the store and get, maybe just pick up some fresh vegetables for a salad or something like that. But I go to the store once a week. I don't shop more than once a week because I don't have time. So I get everything. I think about how much everybody's eating. I'm cooking for 4 people, and we don't eat out that much because I'm real picky with my food, as you can probably tell. And that's kind of how we manage. So I don't need to be in the store every week. We have plenty of cucumbers and tomatoes and peppers and beans and everything's done. You have canned beans, dry beans, all those types of things. I had a question. Hi, Anthony. How about eating out, restaurants or family events? Okay, family events to me are easy because I always will bring something. So I offer to bring something. I say, can I bring a salad or what can I bring for you? Bring whatever it is you think you can like that's going to fill you up. If it has to be an extra bowl of whatever it is that you could eat, then do that. But what I do have to remind you is you're not going to starve if you don't eat like as much as everybody else is eating there. So, you're at a family event, bring something with you can eat before you go so you're not starving, and bring stuff like that you can munch on for a while. It could be vegetables with a dip. It could be your salad. It could be a bean dish, a rice and bean dish. It's real easy to cart. Throw a lot of vegetables in, make it colorful, and people are like, oh my God, how'd you make this? It's amazing. You'll get a lot of that. Restaurants. There's so many vegetarian and vegan options out there, but what I will tell you is in a restaurant, they're going to want it to taste good, so they're going to throw a lot of oil in your food. And I really don't love eating out for that reason, but I know socially it's necessary sometimes. So I am a pain in the neck in a restaurant. I will ask and apologize ahead of time, and I'll give a very nice tip, but I'll ask for my food to be prepared a certain way if possible. So I'll say, can you not put oil on the whatever, or can you have this on the side? Can you put the dressing on the side? Whatever it is you have to do. It's somewhat of a struggle. I'm not going to lie. Definitely struggle. But if you go to some, let's just say, a place where they have, all different kinds of pizzas or whatever, you could ask for a veggie pizza and no cheese and just do the vegetables on top. So things like that. So again, not a perfect world, but if I could find a vegan restaurant that was available, I'd definitely try it. Lori, where are your recipes? I see the black bean meatballs and lentil meatloaf, but I can't find the recipes on my Facebook page. How do you measure? Okay, so measuring, I kind of eyeball everything. So when I put it on Facebook or Instagram, I do have an Instagram where I post all my recipes. It's purefit_women, and it's on Facebook, Pure Fit Women. My Instagram is linked, so you could find the recipes on there. But I have my website is live now. My recipes are on there, and I'm going to be uploading that with more. So if you want to sign up for my recipes, I'm going to be putting out, like an ebook and all that. If you want to be part of that, you want to get notifications of new recipes and things like that, sign up for my email list, and then I'll have you in there. So when I send out the recipes, you'll get them. But specific ones, the black bean meatballs and the lentil meatloaf, I actually could post it on here. I just didn't have a chance to do it. The lentil meatloaf is on Instagram, but the black bean meatballs, I didn't give the recipe for, I don't think. But I'll give it to you guys if you want it. Any other questions? Where are you? Oh, that's a double. Okay. Number 13, and I'm getting close because I know it's late. Find others that share your passion. So, join Facebook groups of people that are vegetarian or vegan or on the same plant-based world that you are. Look up Forks Over Knives, see if you can find some groups. Because what's going to happen is you're going to have people, they're going to think you're weird, and they're going to think you're strange because you're not like them. And they're going to have their own ideas, and they're going to tell you you're not going to get enough protein, and you're going to lack in vitamin B12, and, you're going to get sick, and you need meat, and, you're going to get all these things. And if you need to answer that question of why you don't, just text me and or message me, and I'll give you a good answer for them. So I have to find like-minded people that understand how you feel, and that they feel the same way. And if your family's not on board, as far as making meals for the week, what I would suggest, if you're like the only one in your house that wants to do this, make your plant-based meals the way you want, and then add in a protein source for them. So if they want chicken or they want turkey burgers, make them for them, and then make things you all like. Everybody should be eating a salad. Everyone should be eating vegetables. Everyone should be eating, their potatoes. Make some sweet potatoes. Throw some beans on for you and some vegetables on top for you. Make like a loaded sweet potato. And then maybe they'll have the turkey burger and the loaded sweet potato, and you'll just have your loaded sweet potato and maybe the salad. So it's things like that. So I still do that. My family is not 100% on board with me. They're okay with it most of the time, but I cook some fish for them. Again, it's a personal decision. I'm not going to force it upon anyone. But that's how you can start there. Do I have a sample grocery list available? Those are on my website. If you're part of my nutritional programs, I do have grocery list available on there. But I will give you some ideas. I'm happy to do that. Is beer a vegetable? It is, actually. It's barley, I believe, or it's a grain, so it's on the diet. But it's not going to be calorically good for you. It does stunt your metabolism a little bit. But everything in moderation. Can't give up everything. And, you know, for social reasons, I think you can leave it on the diet. Okay, so some of my favorite recipes that I mentioned here, I will post on this page, so you'll have it. And I'm going to be uploading everything to my website, which is purefitwomen.fit. So please visit that. I have online programs for women. I have nutritional programs. I have essential oils on there if you're interested in that. I'm happy to fill you guys in on any of it. Some of these recipes I make weekly, and you can write them down because they're awesome, and you can get them on Pinterest. I'll share them with you. And again, keep making them in different ways, and watch how your family's going to start to like it. Lentil meatloaf is a big one. That goes over well. You can do that lentil meatloaf or meatballs. You can do that 2 different ways. You can also make it into a burger. Bean soups go over well. They're very easy. Cook them, you know, on a Sunday, and then you have it for a couple of days, and you can freeze it. Those go really well in my house. I do the chili pretty much once a week. I throw spinach in there. I try to like hide everything so the kids will eat it. Cauliflower rice and lentil stew. That's really easy. You buy those bags of cauliflower rice, frozen or fresh, and you could throw that into a lentil stew, which is super simple. And now you're getting all your vegetables in one pot. It's just so easy. If you're going to work, you put it in a Tupperware, you go to work, you don't have to think about all these things. Like, I got to get a chicken, I got to keep it cold because it's, you know, you'll get sick. And, you know, it's just ridiculous. It's exhausting. I do a lot with cabbage, the purple cabbage. I like that they're stiff, so you can put things in almost like a taco or a boat. So I'll throw things in there. I'll throw in black beans, avocados. I dice up like tomatoes, and you can throw in some rice in there, and you can have this like boat. You can roll it up. There's 1,000 things you could do with it. You make a good dip, or you can buy a dip, but you don't have to go crazy. I also do these oatmeal banana muffins, which a lot of people are always asking me for. I will post that recipe. This is a staple in my house. I do it with banana, applesauce. I remove all the animal proteins out of it. Oatmeal, rice milk. This is a big thing in my house because my son's allergic to nuts. So if you are trying to get off dairy, I use 2 different kinds of alternative milks. I use the rice milk because, again, I don't have to worry about the nuts for him. And I use Ripple, which I don't have the whole bottle in front of me. This is their half and half. It's amazing. It's hard to find. It's in Whole Foods. If you're trying to get off dairy and you love half and half, buy this. It's the best out of all of them. I go in the store and I try to stock up. There are only 2 or 3 on there every time. And the vanilla is the best one. But they sell a milk. My son did not know the difference. He loves milk. He didn't even know that he was drinking Ripple milk, which is made from peas. P-E-A-S. So it's great. So definitely recommend this. It's soy-free, nut-free, 100% vegan, gluten-free, and lactose-free. All right. So far as I know, it's pretty good. Let's see. Hi, Amanda. What was the brand for the wild rice? Lundberg. And I'm a big Whole Foods person, but you will be able to find this in Wegmans and, you know, the grocery stores you carry. You have to look around. You can go in the health food section. I wish I could do like a class on shopping because I think that's a big part of why people get overwhelmed. The organic section is going to have more than likely the most expensive versions of everything you're to buy. So if you go in Wegmans and you go to the organic section or the nutritional part of the store that's, I guess it's organic, whatever, you'll see all these rices. But if you go to the rest of the grocery store, the organic foods are sprinkled in there with the store brand, which is a lot less expensive a lot of times. So you can do both. So if you find a rice you like, this brand is very good. So I don't care about paying the extra for it. I think it's worth it. But let's just say I want to get vegetable broth and you buy the Pacific or the name brand. It's going to be $2 or $3 more. You can get the store brand. This is a Whole Foods brand. And this will be half the price. So you got to kind of start to get to know the store. So I'm a Whole Foods and Wegmans person. And you'll see me going in both those stores. But definitely start to get to know your prices and your brands. And you make a list up for yourself, and then you just go that way. Class on shopping would be so helpful. Yeah, I keep saying I want to do it. I did throw it out there a few times, but people, get busy and they don't feel like going, I guess. But I go every week regardless. So I definitely would throw it out there if anyone wants to come with me. Okay, and then I think that pretty much covers it. I'm gonna. The last thing I want to mention: if you like tofu as an egg replacement, you can do. Soy tofu is there's some issues with soy. People think that causes cancer. It's really not true, but again, I'm not going to go into that right now. But if you don't want to eat soy, you can take tofu you can make tofu from garbanzo flour, from chickpea flour, and it's delicious. It's the easiest thing to make in the world. You dice it up, and now you have what looks like regular tofu, and you can use it for a whole week. So I do have that on my Instagram also, so that would be an option for you guys. All right, so I'm going to close it up here. I went over time as usual. I tried to keep it as short as I can, but there's always a lot to say. So I definitely think that this is a great place to start somewhere. So instead of saying it's too much, you don't know what to do, it's overwhelming, just start with one thing. So maybe add some beans in, or maybe take out dairy. That would be a great start. Excuse me, you could say, you know, we're going to do 2 plant-based meals a week, or my lunches are going to be plant-based, or I'm going to make the kids a vegan breakfast. So whatever it is, start there, and then, you know, as you start to learn and educate yourself, which is where the journey is going to start, is by educating yourself, you're going to start to see how easy it is, how good you're going to feel. And if you're dealing with any health issues, it's a no-brainer to do it and try it. So if you're dealing with cholesterol, autoimmune issues, if you're on medication, why do you want to be on medication your whole life? Think about how much money is made by a doctor telling you you need cholesterol medication for the rest of your life. Think about how horrible that is. You get the muscle aches and all those body aches and the side effects, and they cause other problems. Why would you want to be eating this, you know, continue this way? If you could try this for a month or 3 months and see if your health improves, you have nothing to lose but time. So anyway, okay, I'm going to cut it here. So, oh, you do want to come shopping with me. All right, I will definitely let you know. I usually go, I went already this week. I probably will end up there Sunday or Monday, depending on probably Monday, because I have a lot going on this weekend. So if you seriously want to go, I will let you know. I shop like an escaped lunatic in the store because I'm fast, but you can come along. We'll be getting exercise and shopping at the same time. So thank you guys for tuning in. Please visit my website. You can check out a lot of the things I spoke about on there. My programs, nutrition, fitness, wellness, and I would love to help you. Shoot me an email, amanda@purefitwomen.fit, if you have specific questions or you need some ideas on anything. I'd be happy to answer them. And I appreciate your time, and have a great night. Thanks.